Peace, Love, Liberty Radio version 4.0. Prepare for launch.
OTC is go.
Pancapus is go.
PTC is go.
LPS is go.
Houston flight is go.
Pilot go.
STM is go.
Safety comms is go.
STU is go.
LRD is go.
SRO is go. CDR is go.
Launch Director, NTD, our launch team is ready to proceed at this time.
99, proceeded, 3, 2, 1, ignition. Fly away, Houston.
Consequences so severe, so pull your trigger quickly, dear. Our patriots are acting up, let's punish them with fear. Hey, hey!
Hey, welcome to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com. I am your host, Darryl W. Perry, and I hope you enjoyed the different take on the show on Monday, where there was the first segment where I talked about ways to beat stress, and then there was the special ending, the happy ending, if you will. Yes, definitely a intended play on words there, where I had the interview for the last about two-thirds of the show. Don't get too used to that. I am not planning on bringing back guests, but with the fundraiser going on for the Liberty Radio Network, I felt that it was appropriate and needed to have Ian come on the show to help promote that fundraiser. And yes, I do know that there are outlets other than the Liberty Radio Network that carry Peace, Love at Liberty Radio, so hopefully they were not too upset that I did not, spend an appropriate amount of time or a equal amount of time on them. But I do the show because I basically want to do a show that I like, that I hope that other people like, and that's kind of what I want to talk about today. Not, I'm only doing things that I like and screw you guys, because I really do want to create a show that other people like, but I want to talk about, let me just give you the title of the article that I have here from lifehack.org. It says, if it makes you happy, does it really matter what other people think? And the intro to the article, and technically it's not an intro to the article, it's the first two paragraphs of the article, but before they get into what I would consider to be the bulk of, or the meat of the article, the guy's talking about having some conversations with other people, and people saying, I would be scared to do what you do. I would be scared to make myself a public persona and try to succeed at doing something, and I could never do it because I might wind up failing, and it would be very public, and that would be disastrous. And then he says, when people say this, I then thought to myself, there is the possibility that all of my hard work may not go anywhere, and yes, everyone would know because I've posted, shared, and publicly announced my page, blogs, websites, YouTube channel, etc. The tiny voice of doubt attempted to creep into my head. Then I realized I was being like everyone else. Stop doubting yourself, I said. That gets you nowhere. And, doubt can lead to stress of sorts, and we talked on Monday about ways to beat stress. 6 hobbies that can help you beat stress. So let me now jump into, again, I'll just jump into the article here. If it makes you happy, does it really matter what other people think? The process of doubt. He says, I experienced my first case of writer's block when it came to writing for another motivational website that had approached me. I jumped onto their site and had a look at some of the articles and thought, yeah, this is aligned with what I like to write about. I then jumped onto their YouTube channel, and the first video I saw had over 20 million views. I had not even come close to experiencing this kind of exposure. I felt a lump in my throat as I tried to gulp. Quote, "What am I supposed to write to get this many people engaged? What if nobody likes what I put out there? I have only been blogging for a month. What if people think I don't have enough credibility?" Various questions of doubt started to speak to me. I had no clue as to what to write about, and I started to feel nervous. Faces of people smirking at me reappeared in my head. There were people that smirked when they found out what I was doing, people that thought I was crazy starting my new venture and actually thinking I would get somewhere with it. You really need proper camera gear if you're going to film on YouTube. You need to take tutorials on editing. You should work on your grammar. You need to stop twitching your face or making those expressions you do. All the voices of everyone telling me what I was doing wrong floated around me. Now, let me just pause right here to say that I've been in kind of a similar situation. Not that I was trying to make a YouTube video to reach, 20 million views, but in the presidential campaign that I had, there were a lot of people that towards the end, they said, well, Darryl was, saying that he's been running for a long time. I'm surprised he didn't wind up having more support. And part of it was people thinking, oh yeah, Darryl's just saying he's going to do this, and not even remotely taking me seriously until about the last 2 months of the campaign of, oh wow, you're actually doing this thing that you said you were going to do a couple years ago. Yeah, I guess I'll take you seriously now. And so, I kind of, on the one hand, I know what it's like to have that sort of doubt of, all right, I am believing that I'm doing this. I know that I'm doing this. Why are people not believing me? Why do people still doubt that I'm serious here? And, one of the reasons that I do this show, again, it's because it's something that I want to create. And it's the reason a lot of people create things is they're creating the show or the book or the, fill in the blank that they want to see that is not already being created. Let's finish talking about this process of doubt here on Peace, Love, Liberty Radio.
Are you sick of government lackeys who say you didn't build that? Are you tired of elitists who think you need a government permission slip for everything? Everything you do is an A to B conversation, and the government should see their way out of it. Create true free markets by adopting the BIPCOT No Government License. The BIPCOT No Gov license allows use or modification of any product, service, or software except by governments or government agents. Go to BIPCOT.org. That's Bravo, India, Papa, Charlie, Oscar, Tango.org.
In 1999, Darryl W. Perry began a search for traditional values, which led him down a path to the ideas of liberty. He tells the story in A Rebel's Journey, My Path to Liberty. Of the book, Dr. Brian Sovereign says, sometimes it's funny, and sometimes I think it's crazy, but it's always authentic. Find A Rebel's Journey, My Path to Liberty by Darryl W. Perry on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, ask for A Rebel's Journey wherever books are sold, or visit arebelsjourney.com.
Hi, this is Davi Barker from ShinyBadges.com, and you're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio with Darryl W. Perry.
I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. It's Wednesday. Darryl, why are you not answering our questions? Well, I'll tell you why. Because, you guys let me down this week. Nobody sent me any questions. I actually think I'm going to start putting up the submit your questions threads earlier than Monday. I think I will probably start posting those on Saturday or Sunday to give a few more days for people to realize, oh, right, Darryl does that Ask Me Anything. Let me send questions over. But since you guys have not sent me any questions, allow me to ask you a question real quick. Are you fed up with the government running every aspect of your life? You are? Good. Are you listening to the Lava Flow podcast and the Lava Spurt? No, what is wrong with you? Go right now to thelavaflow.com/listen. The Lava Flow Podcast, channeling the flow of information to the libertarian, anarcho-capitalist, voluntarist, and agorist community. Subscribe today using any podcatcher at thelavaflow.com/listen. Or just go back to sucking up to the government. The Lava Flow Podcast and the Lava Spurt, striking the root every episode. Jumping back into the article about do what makes you happy. If it makes you happy, who cares what anybody else thinks? The author of this article explaining how he had his first bout of writer's block. He was asked to write an article for a motivational website. He went on their website. It's like, yeah, I've written stuff like this before. Went on their YouTube channel. Saw their first video had 20 million views. And then the doubt started coming in. He started hearing the little voices of everybody saying, you can't do this. Here's all the things you need, and you don't have those. He says, I stayed home all weekend to work on the fitness freedom flow, yet did not feel I was getting anywhere. Since I started my blog page, writing came so easily. I would be inspired by an idea, and an hour later it was online and published. Things just seemed to flow. Now here I am struggling to even think of the first sentence or even a topic to write about. Frustrated, I decided to give it a break and sleep on it. When I woke up this morning, I had my green tea, as per usual. Then I had some breakfast and was drilling my head as to what I should write. Maybe I should just write for my own page for now. I still had no clue as to what I would write about. I was at a dead end. I decided to meditate and calm my mind as it was racing at 1,000,000 miles per hour. This is why I have decided to write this blog post. I realized that I finally came to a roadblock because for the first time since I started my page, I stopped and started thinking about what other people thought of me. I started listening to the people that doubted me. I started to doubt my own ability and was questioning if I was even going to be worth my time. Clearing the flow. He then says sometimes our minds get so cluttered and are filled with too many thoughts. For me, it helps if I calm my mind and slow down. This is where meditation has helped me. And we've talked about some of the health benefits of meditation, the benefits, I believe, specifically to the way the brain works, the way the heart works, as well as, overall health, peace of mind, and, just allowing yourself to sit and sort of, be one is not necessarily the phrase that I'm going with, and that, sounds kind of weird and hokey anyway, but not really focus, because really when you're trying to meditate, you're trying to, stop thinking about all of the stuff that's going on around you. You're not trying to focus. It's the complete opposite of that, but you're focusing on being at peace. You're not focusing on all of the BS that's happening in the world. So the author of this article said that he sat down, he meditated, and he then says, I find when I do this, my intuition tells me things and it helps guide me in the right direction. I gain a sense of clarity and it helps bring me back down to earth. Meditation keeps me grounded. If you don't practice it, I highly suggest giving it a go. It really does wonders. I must say, since starting my blog page, I feel it has given me life, or rather given my life, great purpose. I jump out of bed and the first thing I do is start working on my page. Not because I have to, but because I want to. For me personally, when I get out of bed in the morning, and that sounds weird because generally when you say when, blah, 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 it means like if you ever do it. But, after I wake up and check my emails, which I know I have talked about on this show being absolutely horrible, and catching up on Facebook, which again I should not be doing first thing in the morning, but I do anyway. get up, get out of bed, go to the bathroom, do my hygiene routine, and then I record the news, and then I, finish having a productive day. So, like the first thing I'm doing is attempting to be productive. Same thing with the author of this article. He says, I thoroughly enjoy being able to speak of my experience and talk about topics that I'm passionate about. It is also an amazing feeling when I receive emails from people all over the world letting me know that the blog they just read has inspired them. I absolutely love hearing their stories that I am lucky enough for them to share with me. He says, my goal is to be able to help motivate and inspire others through my own experience. There are a lot more topics I want to discuss in the future that I feel I can make a difference and maybe, just maybe, help the right person at the right time. That possibility excites me. For the first time in my life, I feel like I am following my purpose, and it is the very reason why I have experienced some of the things that I have in the past. If I can do something that gives back goodness to the world, why not do it? He then says, if you're reading this and there's a business venture, a relationship decision, or a creative idea that you have always had but have been too scared to take an action towards, I encourage you to take that first step. If you're dwelling on a decision and the only thing holding you back is failure or what other people may think of you, take a second and really think to yourself, does it make you happy? If you are doing whatever it is you are currently wishing you could do, can you see yourself happy? If the answer is yes, then what is holding you back? Stay tuned to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio.
When her plush and comfy life suddenly and unexpectedly fell apart, Brooke and her dog Cloud set out to defy the odds. If this is a man's world, as they say, living on the streets is no place for a young woman. One day she awoke in the redwood forest and realized she had become a hobo, and would ultimately come to know exactly what it means to survive. How to Be a Hobo by Brooke Willett is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. In 2115 New England, there are no borders, no states, and no regulations, yet never has a more peaceful and prosperous place existed. But Mr. Drake's security company has seen better days. Faced with the prospect of waning power, Mr. Drake intends to replace the anarchy of New England with a government. But at what cost? Will anybody care? And can anyone stop him? Anarchy in New England by Joe Jarvis is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores.
You're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio with Darryl W. Perry, online at fppradio.com.
Before I continue with this article about if it makes you happy, why do you care what other people think? If it makes you happy, does it even matter what other people think? I want to make sure that I tell you about Roberts and Roberts Brokerage. These guys have been around since 1977. That's nearly 40 years. And since that time, they've been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. So call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760. That's 800-874-9760. Or visit them online at rrbi.co. That's rrbi.co. Jumping back now into the article, if it makes you happy, does it really matter what other people think? What is the role that happiness plays? So I'm actually doing something here that I don't normally do. I am pausing the recording. Actually, I had to restart the recording. There was some kind of technical failure with the initial recording. And yes, I know I'm breaking the fourth wall here because I do like to do the show live to tape to where I begin the recording, and then I record this live, and I don't pretend that I'm doing it as a recorded show. Like I know I'm doing it as a recorded show, but I don't generally do any edits. But as I was finishing up recording this segment, I noticed that there were large chunks of audio that were missing. So I have gone back to, like the last sort of thing, or actually where that first chunk of audio cut out, and I will continue this as, the live to take show, but I just wanted to let you know that my brain might be a little off because I think I said something, or I said something that I meant, or I left something out, because that, this segment and actually the remainder of this show is being re-recorded. So let me get back into the article where I was. What is the role of happiness? What role does happiness play? We all deserve to be happy. We all deserve to be able to follow our passions. And allow me to pause here to say that, yes, I realize not everybody has a passion. Not everybody knows what their passion is. Some people have a lot of curiosities, but they aren't necessarily passionate about one particular thing. But that does not mean that you don't have a purpose. The birds and the bees and the butterflies, they all serve a purpose. They pollinate flowers. But I don't think, and maybe they do, but we don't know, but I'm guessing that the birds and the bees and the butterflies do not realize what their purpose is. Maybe they do, but I don't think that they're passionate about pollinating flowers. I dare say that if somehow we were able to get into the mind of a butterfly, that the butterfly would not be thinking, I have to go pollinate flowers. No, the butterfly is probably, if it's thinking at all, hey, I think there's some food over there for me. Ooh, I think there's some food over there for me. And they go from flower to flower, tree to tree. And what are they doing? They were pollinating the flowers. They're following their curiosity of what's over there, what's over there, what's over there. But they have a grander purpose. Not everybody realizes what their purpose is. Not everybody knows what their passion is, because not everybody has a passion per se, but they all do have a purpose. If it makes you smile, and if it changes your life for the better, then go for it. You don't really lose anything. You don't really have anything to lose. What's the worst that could happen? You end up exactly where you are right now. If you try something and you fail, all right, you're back to square one, as they say. If that does end up being the case, you really did not lose anything. You actually gained the chance to open yourself up to a new experience, and you probably learned something along the way. So in hindsight, you still gained something. The author of the article here says, I'm still learning along the way, and there's a great deal more that I have to learn. I'm absolutely blessed that in the month I've been doing this, I've gained so much traction on my blogs. It's an absolute privilege that I've been published on Lifehack, and it makes my heart sing to know that already in such a short time there are people out there that appreciate my work. A month ago, he says, I did not even know how to build a website, let alone make a video. I didn't know that I could write, so fail or not, I still have gained. I've learned so much already and am excited for all the things that I will learn in the future. The journey has been so much fun, and I really do enjoy it. I really do hope that if you're not already, that you start your journey towards your passion, or I'll add, your curiosities. Life is short, and we can't take that for granted. Tomorrow is never promised. Do whatever it is that makes you smile. What's life without those moments of happiness? So the real question is, if it makes you happy, does it really matter what anybody else thinks? And I'm reminded of the song from the 90s, If It Makes You Happy, Why the Hell Are You So Sad? think about that. If it makes you happy, then what does it matter what other people are thinking? And I'm talking to myself as much as I'm talking to you right now. If it makes you happy, what does it matter what anybody else thinks? Stay tuned. This is Peace, Love, Liberty Radio.
Why do they hate us? Is libertarianism compatible with Islam? Davi Barker answers these questions and more in Voluntary Islam and Other Essays. He advances the voluntarist cause with analysis of the confluence of values between Islam and libertarianism, as well as contemporary movements from the Tea Party to the Arab Spring. Voluntary Islam by Davi Barker is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. You can support FPP Radio by shopping online. Whether you're looking for precious metals, bitcoins, or books, you'll find that and more at shop.fppradio.com. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates, like Namecheap, Spendabit, and Amazon at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. Or you can shop directly from FPP with Bitcoin in the Bitcoin store. That's shop.fppradio.com.
You're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio with Darryl W. Perry. Online at fppradio.com.
Hey, welcome back to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. Online at fppradio.com. And, you know, there's an article that I want to get into here, but there's definitely not time for me to do that today. But I will promise that I'll get into this first thing on Friday, why people who like spending time alone can connect with others more deeply. So, instead, I will change directions a little bit and talk about exercise. I'm not going to necessarily encourage you to go out and run a 5K. I'm not going to even encourage you to go to the gym and lift all the weights. Not going to do that at all, but there is an article, 11 Reasons Not to Give Up on Exercising. So this is presuming that you've already started exercising, you've not necessarily met your weight loss goals, you've not necessarily met your weight lifting goals per se. So what are some reasons to not give up? Well, some people simply lose weight slower. More is not always better. When you lose weight slowly, it's tempting to add more and more exercises in hopes of losing weight faster. It might not work. It can actually wind up being detrimental. It can burn you out and cause you to lose motivation. There are other benefits aside from weight loss, such as getting healthier, having a healthier heart, better blood pressure, etc., increased circulation. You can keep it fun. They say you're not gaining weight as long as you're exercising. You're not gaining weight, which is a result in and of itself. And that's not necessarily true. You might be gaining a little bit of weight, but it could be muscle. You might be gaining more muscle than fat you're losing, so even if you do gain weight, it would be good weight. Variation is key, so don't necessarily do the same exercises every day. Check in with experts. Even walking is beneficial. They say walking is key with slower burners. A short walk a day makes you happier and keeps your digestive system working. Starting the day with a brief burst of exercise is a wonderful thing. Taking a day off is a good thing, and there will be end results. Obviously, I've sped through this article. As always, it will be in the show notes. I'll be back on Friday, and don't forget, every Wednesday I answer your questions. Send those over to ama@fppradio.com.
The podcasts of FPP Radio are licensed under Copyheart. We believe that copying is a form of flattery and do not abide by the copyright laws. Those laws serve to restrict the flow of ideas, which no one can really own. Copying is an act of love. Love is not subject to law. If you enjoy the show, consider joining the Fans program and get perks like ad-free versions of Peace, Love, Liberty Radio and FPP Radio News. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com.